Welcome, everybody. We're in new environments. Things have
We aren't.
changed.
Well, you are.
Yeah, I'm in Texas now for particular reasons. A lot of stuff has been going on. Mainly, Ryan got a Switch. That's the big world event that's happening right now.
Yeah, it's the Animal Crossing one. I'm looking at it. It's super cute. There's a little Tom Nook and cute animals on it.
Yeah, it's a good
Uh,
way to spend your time while you may be stuck in your home for
Yeah.
an indeterminate amount of time, as
Well,
many of you
yeah.
might be right now. Welcome to the Dungeon Crawl. We'll be your maybe escape and help getting you to escape later in the future if you become extremely bored while staying in your house.
Yeah,
because
lots
of
of crap for you to
everything.
listen to.
Yeah, I actually have noticed our little viewers have been kind of going up lately.
Well,
Which
nothing
is-
else to do.
Nothing else to do.
No,
Um,
to be fair, some people might listen to it when they traveled like to work, but now they are not.
Well, I guess we're screwed then. We're kind of out of business, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, usually we kind of dive through Unearthed Arcana, but we're going to switch it up this time. Take a step back from Unearthed Arcana because that's our main shtick.
Oh no.
I'm kidding. Well, this time around, I wanted to, rather than focus on all of the bad that's happening, things that are making people's lives more difficult, stressed out,
Yeah.
I thought it would be better to take the dungeon crawl, me as Braxton, you as Ryan, hello, welcome, and just give people an idea of how to keep their D&D shtick going. You know, scratch that itch when they can't meet with their players because they're trying to stay healthy.
Yeah,
I
it's
think that'd
tough.
be a good idea.
It's tough to continue the game when you're not meeting.
Yeah, but thankfully, as we've figured out, and you guys have likely heard if you've listened to our previous episodes, if not, if this is your first time, hello, but we had an entirely IRL D&D group once upon a time, right?
Yeah, back in the day.
So that was before I'd graduated and we all were college kids kind of hanging out doing D&D, which was a great time and I absolutely loved it and didn't want to let it go. At
Before
some point
adult
I had to leave,
responsibilities kicked
Yeah.
in.
unfortunately. Still are. But these adult responsibilities allow me to have a nice little microphone and a recording software and have the time to play more D&D and record a podcast. But
Yeah, money's
unfortunately,
nice.
I was doing that from a different state. So we did some research and figured out, with some pain, trials, and tribulations, how we could manage it. And I mean, how has it been for you for this past?
Well, I mean, it was
year?
either that or in our
Ryan.
last campaign, Braxton had to leave for Japan. He went to do some stuff overseas, some studying abroad, and we had to get his character out of the game, and it was a whole sad thing, a whole sad shtick, and we just didn't want to go through that again. So we
Yeah.
thought about all the different ways we could try to keep Braxton's character in. We even figured out how to get because I play music and sound effects during our game. We even figured out how to
God,
go
that
to
was a pain.
yeah, we figured out how to feed that through to him as well. So now he can get fully immersed into the world.
Yeah, that was a big portion of it for me too. And we definitely want to talk about music later on down the line. But if you guys are still wanting to have D&D, even online, I know schools right now that are closing are conducting things on Zoom, I think is a popular recording app or video chatting app.
Never really heard of it before.
I haven't either, but it's popped up because it allows a lot of people to be in the same room at once, and it's handling it pretty well. Maybe not best for D&D, but right now a lot of you are probably going through what we did at that time, trying to find a bunch of solutions and scrambling to see, I really want to keep D&D going. I don't want to not play with these people because we're in an intense portion of the campaign and we want to keep going. So I'm hoping that Ryan and I can provide a bit of perspective in this. Like, I think we're going to do 2 parts. Hopefully,
Yeah, we'll
maybe.
try. Yeah, we'll think about it.
See how this one goes. If it's terrible, we can get me off the board and not do any more submissions of ideas, no more pitches. But we had a lot of problems trying to figure it out, and I lost a lot of things that made Ryan's D&D sessions Ryan's D&D sessions. I loved them a lot, and I do now that we've managed to get all of those things as much as possible jammed into an online session just for me. Conversely, you guys are having how many people join in across wherever you guys are in your own homes, 5 or 6 people all online, which I also have experience with outside of Ryan's campaign, where I'm the only player that is online with a webcam. I also run a D&D session with 5 or 6 players, all online, no webcam, and I do use some music. So I think we need to find a good starting point, and that might be, how do you transition, Ryan? What do you think? What's your first idea? What's the most important thing you need to figure out when you are going online? What do you think?
Well, I think you got to figure out what the hell you're going to be using.
Yeah.
How are you going to get everyone synced up? So are you going to be using Skype or Discord or some other program that has voice chat implemented into it?
Yeah, so what do we use?
We use Discord, and I would imagine most people out there probably use Discord as well, if not know what it is.
Yeah. I mean, even Discord, I don't think it's that old, is it?
No. Not that old, I don't believe. It's been around probably for a couple years now.
I think it's kind of young, and like maybe 2 or 3 years. I could be very, very wrong about that, because the amount of culture and communities it's created is insane. It's got really great voice attenuation, gain control. It can make your friend's really shitty mic a lot better, because let's be honest, if they're not a hardcore gamer, even if they are, they might not have a professional grade microphone to record podcasts with like I do. So
yeah,
Discord is, its key point is that it can do video, and it's really great at making sound better, clearer.
Yeah, it's got an implemented noise gate and stuff in it. As Braxton said, it's got noise suppression as well,
which can be a pain in the butt, because sometimes it doesn't play friendly with quieter people and cuts them off a lot.
Yes. But
So
overall,
possible
it's
problem.
very good.
Yeah, so that's what we use, and setting that up looked like, at least in the beginning, just getting me on there and figuring out a way to get a webcam to point at Ryan's setup. So that's another thing that might be a bit painful for you guys, whether you've decided to use Discord to communicate, whether you want to use webcams. It just depends on what your players have. That you can figure out on your own pretty much. Yeah. You know all the software that are out there. I just wanted to touch on it a little bit. But for those of you that have been playing D&D for a long time, or really invested a lot of your money into it, or creative talents into creating miniatures, maps, things that you've had planned for possibly months from now, how do you show that to these players? What is the medium that you're going to use? You've got Discord, you've got the voice chat done, but Ryan, how do you transition the visual aspect of D&D or the interactive aspect of D&D online? Are you just doing theater of the mind 100%? Is that the only option?
No, there's a lot of things you could try. It really depends on how much money you want to put down, how much effort you want to go into it, and how much, how many different programs and things you want to give a shot. The one that most people know of is obviously Roll20.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried it once just to make some maps, and it's fine for free stuff. You have to pay to get a lot of other features, but you could split the money with all your players, because it just has to be the DM.
I think that's why it is kind of expensive as well, because groups do it.
But it does have some nice stuff to it. It's got like macros and stuff where you can just hook it up and just tell the enemy to attack the player, and it'll automatically roll everything and get it all figured out for you. But it does take
there's pros and cons.
Yeah, it does take setup to do that.
Mm-hmm. And you're gonna have some time to set it up, but maybe your session's coming right away and everybody's available here, and maybe won't be able to make it next time. Roll20 has a steep learning curve if you want to utilize everything that it has to offer. So for me, it was really daunting in the beginning, because you pop in and it's definitely not as simple as picking up a miniature and moving it around the map. I mean, it's a point and click away. Ryan, from what you did, was it was similar to that kind of interaction, but was there a point when you started using it that you thought, this is a little too much for what I want to do right now?
Oh, yeah. I spent a little time with it. I thought, okay, this is not exactly what I'm going for. But if I was doing a 100% only online campaign, I could probably put in the effort to pimp it out and make it exactly what I want it to be.
Oh, it pays off for sure.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I have noticed while doing an online campaign with my friends is the lack of a visual representation on the battlefield. That brings a lot of problems, because I get a situation where my friend is like, okay, so where am I standing on the battlefield? We've just come back from, maybe a 2-week hiatus because they're all busy and adults and doing different things in their life. They're fighting this basilisk in this small pond area. The pond is in the northwest. I'm reminding them of their positions, but continuously they're needing to know where they're at because D&D has a spatial, not concept, what's the word I'm looking for? Component to it in combat. Like,
Sure.
you have to think about space sometimes. Of course, it's homebrew. You can forget about it if you want, but that's something you're going to want to address. And it's something that Ryan and I in our campaign, where I'm a player, have to deal with because he does have the physical representation of a battlefield quite often with the other players, the other 3 people that he's playing with.
Yeah, Braxton can't really see it.
Yeah. What are some of the weird solutions we've come up with to make that work?
Well, we first tried using color-coded minis, but even that was still just too tough to tell.
Yeah.
The thing that we use the most is get another one of our friends to connect their phone camera into the call and use that as like a little battle cam kind of going around.
Yeah, but that in and of itself brought a lot of problems because your friend's battery and it's their phone.
Yep. Uh-huh.
It's just not consistent. So I guess the goal here is to try to workshop between you and I and figure out how to create a quick, easily transitionable setup for people that want to keep playing D&D during any time where people just can't go outside, or if they are needing to bring a campaign that has been going on for several years, but everybody's leaving and you need to wrangle them online, which honestly, scheduling gets a bit easier when it's online. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you don't have to travel anywhere.
No, don't. I work from home now with my day job, and that makes everything a hell of a lot easier. I know, at least with some of our players before, I think Robin specifically travels like 40 minutes to get to us.
Yeah, something like that.
So that's just cut out. So let's say you're in the situation right now and you're currently trying to figure out a solution to get your players back together. I would recommend checking Roll20 out a little bit, because the simplest form of it, if you're wanting to go as cheap as possible, as quick as possible, it's got a grid map. You can put tokens on it. You can tell them what things are, even if you don't have the time to put a visual representation of this is a goblin, this is the orc leader. You can color code them, try to figure stuff out like that, and as you get more comfortable, kind of dabble on, add things there, but it's simple. It provides a map and you can move things around, and that's minimum what you'll want to set up if your players need a visual representation of the battlefield.
You could also use other programs like Fantasy Grounds if you want to put down a little extra money, or Tabletop Simulator, but that you'd have to have your friends need to make sure that they have a little beefier computers. But if everyone's big old gamers, then that might be a good option.
Well, Tabletop could be a good option because it does have a top-down view, which puts everything in 2D, which does cut back, and it does have graphics options as well. So that could be something for you guys to look into. I love Tabletop. It can be a bit wonky because you're moving a 2D mouse in a 3D plane to drag things around, so sometimes it's got a bit of a learning curve with controls, I suppose. There's a lot of hotkeys. So like Ryan said, if you're not savvy with a keyboard, hotkeys are programs that typically make your hands move in that sort of way. It can be tough and overwhelming, and maybe you lose interest in one of your players and they kind of wean off. Don't want that.
Yeah.
We considered using Tabletop for something, didn't we?
Yeah, we talked about it, but some of our players just don't have good computers.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, they were all still kind of able to meet in person, so that's not really that wasn't the problem. But that one session I did run, where unfortunately kind of disbanded, I think that was on Roll20, but I realized while I was in it, I wasn't making use of everything, and it just kind of was like I bought an expensive sport car to drive around on like a suburb.
Yeah.
Like, you've got all these tools and I'm not using any of them. So that's what that felt like. And I mean, I'm in the camp of Roll20 right now. I think it's got the lowest skill ceiling or skill floor and the highest skill ceiling of anything, just because of how simple it is.
Yeah, it's got a lot of features to it.
So if you had to pick a medium for people to use of everything that you've kind of read, what would you go with? Because you could even just record your tabletop and move things for your players if you wanted. If
Seems
you're the
a little
person
cumbersome.
yeah. Everything here,
Good.
whether it's online
But
or a physical representation, it's gonna be cumbersome.
yeah, I probably would go with Roll20 if I was like 100% making a game campaign online. It's got a lot of features to it. It's an easy way to get everyone coordinated because they don't really have to do anything extra. They just got to open up their browser window.
Yeah. Oh, you can even do video chat through it and speak
Yeah.
as well. So if you didn't want to use Discord and you wanted to keep as many windows shut and closed as possible, you could run everything through Roll20.
And you can do music through it as well.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, Braxton,
Yes, go ahead.
you now have your campaign set up on Roll20.
Uh-huh.
You got some maps, prepared some NPC sheets and whatnot, monsters, everything. When you get your players into it, what's something you think you might be losing, missing out? What's one of the cons? Something you're missing out from an in-person experience?
Well, I know why you're asking me this specifically.
Yeah, because you have experienced this firsthand.
Yes. So, ironically, in my group, me being the only one who had a theatric background and did acting, I'm the one who gets to lose that aspect, that role-playing boon you get with body language.
Yeah.
That it's coming out for me. I don't get that at all anymore, and it sucks because I really, really love not only playing in character, and if I say something on accident that I meant to say out of character, I say it in game. That sort of unconscious, accidental thing that happens with your voice. I love doing that with my body too. Like sitting in a more uncomfortable position if my character is in a bad mood, or kind of getting in somebody's face, literally using the space in my own body to roleplay even more. You lose that, at least from the chest down, which sucks big time, especially for people like me who really, really enjoy interacting in person and having that theatric kind of theme going on. It's tough to get into it, and you may lose your player's interest. So
yeah,
I don't think we've even found a way to work around that. I think beefing up your music could help.
maybe.
I mean, that always got me into it. The second we finally figured out how to work Discord and get music into it, it was great. And we should touch on that in a second, even though it's kind of an expensive option to use music through Discord. We'll go back to that. But what do you think you can do to try to fill that void? Because I haven't found it yet.
I don't know. I don't know if there really is. I think the benefits that you get from online are you will also have some of the cons as well.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way to balance it out too well. Some of the other cons that I can think of is if everybody's online, even just a couple. Think about the one problem player you have on your at your table that always pulls up their phone. Well, now they have a browser in front of them they could just use whenever.
Yeah. And metagaming gets fucking terrible.
Yeah, people will be looking stuff up.
So, yeah. I mean, it's the same issue that internet has for everybody in their life. It disconnects them in a sense.
Yeah.
But I guess in a situation where you don't have any other options, those cons don't matter as much because just doing D&D in general is it trumps all, I guess.
It would just be something to expect if you're just going from in person to online only.
Yeah. And I imagine that you're more of a DM than I am, even though I still am. Like, I should stop saying that because I literally have a campaign that's going on right now. But from your perspective, when you notice players, because we've run a session where 2 people have been online, what would you try to do to make sure everybody is in the game, present, but also not sound like you're their fucking parent? Because it can get that way. Like, get off your phone, kids.
No, so you could say that. You could say, hey, make sure we're not using our phone or cellular devices. But I think that's like Braxton saying, it just kind of sounds, and maybe that's just the type of person you are. But to me, that sounds a little,
it's naggy.
A little hand-holdy naggy. But instead, what I've come to do is if a player's on their phone during combat,
you fucking kill them.
Well, you could. In combat, I'll usually say something like, you gotta hurry it up, make sure you're paying attention, we got 5 seconds, whatever. Try to speed it along. Or if it's happening in game or outside of combat and player wasn't paying attention because they're on their phone, and then suddenly go, "Oh, what was happening?" I'll just say, "Oh, you weren't there. You weren't paying attention." And the other players can fill them in if they want to, or they can just not know what was happening during that section.
Yeah. See, like if you had all the money in the world, you could even do like a full camera that gets somebody's entire body and say, if you're on camera, if it's on, that's what your character is at least embodying the idea of your posture.
Yeah.
Turn your camera off if you're out of character. So that could be something you do if you want to try to bring that sort of physical gesturing back.
True. If everyone has cameras.
Yeah. Okay. So there are expensive routes and cheaper routes to go for this.
Yeah, and you could I mean, you don't even have to use, like Braxton said, you don't even have to use any of the programs we said earlier. It could just be 100% theater of the mind, and that's completely okay too.
Which is technically what I do. I mean, I found the need, and each of you kind of do this. Have your simple session first if you felt daunted by getting a map open or doing anything like that. Have a simple session, get them in the Discord chat, have them talk as their characters, maybe in a pub, and bring some NPCs by and see what you feel like you're missing that isn't allowing you to tell the story that you want. Because the problem with online is, especially going from in-person to online, is that transition and losing things as you're translating it, lost in translation. Pity laughs during these sad times. Because I noticed, like in Ryan's, I just wanted music. So I literally popped in if you're using Discord, I think it's Rhythm Bot. There's plenty of sound bots that you can use. A lot of bots. But they're a little clunky. Oftentimes you'll have to do a command, ! Play, ! Stop, but you can find playlists, or even, I think, maybe create them. I haven't tried that online. Like even just typing Witcher battle, or ! Play Witcher battle music, if you've got this bot installed, and it will just play a playlist of exciting, upbeat or battle-esque music from The Witcher, which is what I do whenever I enter combat, and they love it.
Which is great music.
Ryan, do you like jokes?
I love jokes.
I know you don't like memes that much, but you're a funny guy. You like funny things.
Yeah, I like fun things. Yeah, okay, well, I'm following.
This Discord bot does come with issues because your players, if you give them the permissions, can play just anything and everything that they want. I've gotten somebody pull up the My Hero Academia soundtrack, one of the really hype songs. They play it. That's fun. That's a good use of it. Allowing your players to insert memes if they want, or play like the Shrek soundtrack or Smash Mouth.
Or maybe if they're a bard, they go up on stage and they queue up a song they play.
Yeah, that's happened too. We've actually got a mute bard, which is interesting. She can hear and kind of speak in deep speech. It's interesting. I love it though, because deep speech, obviously, which is Far Realms-ish, I think. Is it? We'll dive into that at some other point in the time, because we've altered that for our own usage. But Discord, I think, brings a really unique perspective, because you can type things in a chat. Let's
say crazy scenario, or maybe not even crazy, because not everyone has the money to buy things. What if they don't have a good microphone, or they don't even have a microphone, or any of these things? There are chat bots that exist that allow you to run D&D chat games.
Oh, really?
Yes, that they will remember your player sheet and all sorts of stuff. And
so this is like bare bones only text?
Yeah. You can run a full text campaign, and the benefits of that being is that it can just kind of run 24/7, but obviously, you're
missing everything.
It'll be slow. It won't be fast.
I wonder if it has algorithms that you could type in, or just, obviously you could copy paste your typical spells.
Sure. It probably does. I don't know. I just
heard
about
the fudging of the dice, Ryan. What would you think about that? How do you enforce that?
Well,
you can fudge dice now. You're not there.
Well, yeah, it's just a lot of trust. But some of these programs have dice rolling already and integrated. And so if you're really if you're really that uptight about it, then you could just say, let's just use the one in the game. You don't have to say, because I don't trust your ass. You just say, hey, let's just all use the one in game to make it easy for the program.
Could be tough because these are in-person players in this scenario, and they're going to have their own dice, likely, unless you're a precious DM like Ryan and you supply dice for everybody until they eventually buy their own.
Yeah, because I bought them in bulk when I first started playing.
Yeah, I used those quite a bit until I eventually found out my favorite colors for Warlock dice, and now I've got 4 sets, and that's all I need. So I mean, that's an interesting point. I didn't even think about doing a text chat for D&D, but that's entirely possible.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people do this.
Really?
Yeah.
I imagine these are fans of those sort of older text adventure games.
Probably, or if they just have no other option.
Yeah. Well, at the bare minimum, if your players all have smartphones, you can call in on so many of these things. And you can even just do a group phone call with your just general phone app if you still make regular phone calls nowadays, you freaking hick. I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
But that's an option. And if you're doing theater of the mind and you don't need a chat, you don't need music, just talk. People do that. I mean, if people can run a text chat D&D game, you can certainly just do it on the phone.
Oh yeah. And
But
you
if
could
you wanna
even
go, like-
just do like the role play stuff on the phone and then find a way to do send the combat through to people or something.
Yeah. Well, why is combat always the worst thing to talk about for any situation? It's the
It's
most
hard to
complicated
do.
thing. It's very hard to do. I almost wanted to bite the bullet and record combat sometime soon because we've always talked. There's that one night that we really talked about it.
Oh, yeah, we went on and
And
on.
we were recording. We'll get to that at some point. But combat in this aspect, I think it's okay if you kind of, let it suck. I mean, you want to play D&D, right? For those of you that maybe have a more combat/numbers heavy game, it might be terrible. And I mean, for a second, Ryan, I guess let's just try to brainstorm if people are playing even, is it 4? D&D 4E? That's really numbers heavy?
Yeah, I mean, that's got a lot of numbers in it.
Yeah, I mean, Roll20, I'm sure people have created things that have inventories of spells and stuff already programmed into it. Of course, that will cost you money. Like, if you're wanting to just get going, find a chat, something, somewhere, speak, and do theater of the mind. But if you've got some time and or money, you can do quite a lot. So I kind of want to think about, like, dream solution, Ryan. If money wasn't an object,
Okay.
what's your ideal online session? How would you do it? Balls to the wall. Just fucking spend Bill Gates' money.
I don't know. I mean, even with balls to the wall money, I do like the bare bones kind of
Okay.
games.
Okay.
I like kind of you describing just the straight up Discord chats, that type of stuff. Sure, it makes maps a little difficult, but you could even do maps in like a Google Doc or a Google Excel sheet. Have
Yeah.
everyone join it, and you just have each little square is the 5 foot, and you just do different colors for each person.
Hey, that's another thing for Discord. It has screen sharing now.
Yeah, you could also just screen share different things.
Yeah, if you're not paying for Discord, I think you can, which a lot of you probably didn't know you could do that. But yes, they found a way. You can stream at 720p 30 FPS, which of course will take a little bit of a strain on your computer. So that puts a bit of a money and commitment restraint on the DM themselves. But
Yeah.
when I DM,
You
I don't share the screen, but I have a drawing tablet with the screen on it. It's a Wacom Cintiq, and if I wanted, I could stream that and have a map on there and draw things for them if they weren't wanting to interact and move their own things on, say, Roll20.
Yeah.
So that's something you can do. Screen sharing, you can get really creative with that. So Ryan, you really I guess you're kind of minimalist in that regard.
Yeah, at least for online stuff. I'm
Yeah.
sure I could, if I really wanted to, I could go all out for, money wise on Roll20 or something. But I don't know. I like everyone just hops in a Discord call. I think that the biggest issue I have with other programs and stuff is just convincing everyone to get it and
Yeah.
put their information in. When it's
Yeah.
just Discord, it's just like, hey, send me a picture of your player's sheet, and we'll all just hop on a call together.
Yeah, we've used Discord for party management and just communication. Like, we've got our own channel, and maybe you've got a lot of people that do D&D. An advantage that Discord has, again, is you can make servers for each of your campaigns.
Yeah.
Have different text chats. Oh, something creative you can do as well. If you ever had something where you did an insight check or a player wanted to tell you something in confidence, or you took them into a different room, you can literally create 2 different voice channels. And it's pretty simple. Just a plus button and add it. Drag that player with your mouse and put you in it as well. Tell them something secret that only their character sees
Secret
that they
secrets.
hear. So if you're wanting to stick with bare bones, and I think that probably should have been my goal from the start, since the majority of you are wanting to switch abruptly, just fucking pop on Discord. Just go. Just fucking do it. Find somebody online. There's so many friendly people that use Discord that will literally just make it for you. Oh, that's something we should talk about.
Okay.
This maybe isn't good for creating something, translating an offline game to online, but finding players online.
I think it's easier.
It is easier for sure.
It's a lot easier.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you just pop on Reddit and there's, you don't have to be worried about them popping in and they're like in a fursuit and they're like, we weren't live action role playing this. And then they murder you maybe. There's no correlation between anything I described them as and murder, but.
Well, hell, forget Reddit. If you're using Roll20, there's a find a group area in Roll20.
What?
Yeah. Just click if you're a player, you want to find a game, just go to find games to join a game section. Type kind of what you're looking for, and boom, you can find some stuff. I think it even looks like that. There's like even schedules and stuff. You can, and if you're a DM, you can post games on there saying you're looking for some people.
Now I'm just kind of thinking of an infomercial. It's like, are you bored, stuck inside this whatever season where there's death and infection outside?
Well, you're in luck.
Have you thought of D&D? If you have crippling social anxiety sometimes, don't want to go into some, little Jimmy, love you, you're a great guy. Stay in your house. It's dangerous out there.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Find Discord, Roll20. You've got some great options.
What?
That sort of thing.
What if I want to play in person?
No.
Oh.
It's too scary outside, little Jimmy.
You know what? I think you're right.
I am right.
I'm going to go to Roll20, I'm going to go to app.roll20.net.
That's
and
it, Jimmy.
Find it out.
Say it again for everybody listening out there.
I'm going to go to app.roll20.net.
All right, we're done with that. But, I mean, that's kind of the feeling I'm getting is there's a lot of options out there. And for, the bored Jimmy outside that is stuck in your parents' home or your apartment because you don't want to get infected with something, anything, whatever. This works for any situation in the world. Years from now, if you're just alone and you want to play some D&D and you need some companionship and you want to have hella fun adventures slaying dragons or doing whatever the hell you want to do, you've got a lot of resources online. Like right now, just pop on to Roll20 and Ryan, I didn't even know that they had this, but of course there's a forum for it.
You could also, I didn't even think about it, but use the stuff that's, that Wizards of the Coast puts out themselves. You could check out D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Fuck. You can't run a full on. That there's no.
But the
rolling and stuff in there
is so great.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff you can store. That if you're gonna do just a full on Discord campaign, then this might be a good way to keep everything consolidated in one spot.
Yeah, you can even see your players' spells and kind of. I know you don't want to micromanage their items, but hey, I saw you didn't add the cool ice sword I gave you. I'm not going to remind you. Put it on there.
As a DM, you can make encounters as well.
Yeah. And Dungeon should be your friend here too. I mean, that's just a resource you use anytime. We'll just shout that out again because that'll help you. If you suck at creating maps, it's got a map generator. donjon.com. Or is it? Is it
it's
.com?
donjon.bin.sh.
Don't listen to me anytime I give a link. Ever. I will always mess it up. Unless at the end of this podcast. Yeah, that's a good thing for you to use. But don't dread it. You're going to be bored. It just depends on your life situation right now. And I think that online D&D, I don't know if there's a bad stigma about it right now, Ryan.
It's the future.
It's an option for the future.
Yeah.
Whenever our consciousness get uploaded to the psionic net or mind flares come and we're just playing mind D&D, they'll use Discord.
And like we did say, there are cons to this, so it's important to keep that in mind. But if it is your only option for the weeks, months ahead, then I definitely recommend giving it a shot. We're gonna try it probably at some point here, so we can continue our game
this weekend.
We might, yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
At the very least, just a little bit to do some maybe wrap up some role play that's going on.
Oh, I don't want want to go without it. Why we're in my this is my time in the limelight,
Yeah,
and we're just stopping it.
I know.
Everything's out to get me right now.
Yeah, 2020 has been a crazy year.
Yeah, I guess try not to think that way either. That things are going really well for you in the past, and now that this has happened, it's just something trying to fuck up your life. You're good. It's okay.
Yeah. Hey, roll with them punches.
Roll with the punches. Like my sister, she has been hopping around jobs. Like she's a really, really strong worker, but she just got a new apartment after living in Chicago for a bit. She went back to Texas and got another new job, and then this thing comes by after she gets engaged and may fuck up her wedding, and she's like, I just feel like I can't catch a break. And I'm like, dude, it's okay. You got this.
Yeah, you got this.
But remember, if you're a DM, you just want to murder your players. So whenever you're in that session, kill them.
Yeah, and it's easier to plot behind a computer screen than it is looking at their faces.
Dude, okay. I don't know if I can find this right now, but the reason why I want to do this in 2 parts is because at least the other day I was on Instagram and I saw a DM.
Wait, does the Dungeon Crawl have an Instagram?
Does it?
I believe it does.
What is the handle?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. If you have Instagram, kids, you should please check out Dungeon Crawl Pod on Instagram, where we post all sorts of fun sound bites.
Do we have a Twitter?
Thank you, Jamie. Yes, we do have a Twitter. Same handle, at Dungeon Crawl Pod.
Yeah, so if you guys are wanting some advice, and I guess that's why we're kind of doing it at this point right now.
Or have some advice.
There's a person I reached out to because he had a really great shot of him with his TV screen and a video chat, and he had a map already made, and it seemed like for his other posts, he was entirely in person. So I reached out and I said, hey, do you have any tips or tricks? And he's like, yeah, I'd love to do a write-up. So I shot him an email, and I'm kind of waiting on his response now. So maybe next week we'll have like compiled legitimate advice from people that are doing this right now during this time. So it could be really cool.
It'd be really cool.
Yeah. I guess as Ryan's mentioned several times, pros and cons, and hopefully we've highlighted them a little bit here. But I've enjoyed my experience playing D&D online, and it really does reflect the experience I've had going from an office environment to remote work, which I'm sure a lot of you right now are also experiencing. Unfortunately, but also fortunately, I'm not a shut-in, but I'm used to being in my house for days on
yeah,
end.
Me too. Not much has changed.
Like a large desire to go outside. Of course, if I go out and like I breathe fresh air, it's like, hey, that's pretty good stuff. But I'm pretty good at staying inside. So whenever I finish a long day at work, and my player's like, oh, are we playing today? Even if I'm prepped, sometimes I'm like,
no, I'm just gonna play Fire Emblem.
That was definitely the case once upon a time, but it's tiring. Being a DM is tiring.
It is very tiring.
I don't want this transition to keep any of you from doing something that's your passion, because even if you love it, it can drain the shit out of you. Good turn of phrase, Braxton, but it's tough. And our group with me and Ryan and all of our lovely players, Daniel, Nikki, and Robin, we don't usually, shout-outs, go a long time without seeing each other. So
yeah, surprised we've got to be pretty consistent with our D&D.
It's impressive. Like with my other group, we do miss sessions quite often, and it doesn't pain me at all because of our life situations are all different. Yeah. It's great to do it at any time. And if we don't have a session on a Monday, it means I can relax and play Fire Emblem if I want to. Okay, we'll put it out there. Or Smash Bros. Ryan just got a Switch. I don't know if he wants to play today. You can turn me down, Ryan.
We might play it. We might play a game or a couple of games too.
My internet could be terrible. I tested it on my Switch. I was getting like 3 megabits, even though it's faster on my phone. But I think a good thing to waffle about right now is coping with not seeing even just a group of friends, or specifically your D&D group. What are some ways that you can kind of pass the time while you're waiting for that next session? Because you might have to.
What I've done in the past and you might remember this. I think might have been last campaign. It might have happened this campaign too. We had to miss a session, and I said, okay, well, just to keep you guys in the mindset, I'm gonna ask you some questions about your character in the next week or so. And I don't remember what the questions were anymore, but it was like one or two just about what your character likes to do, or NPCs from your character's backstory, just something to keep you in the world, keep you enveloped in what's going on, even if we're not really, meeting for that week.
Yeah. Some of you might be able to, and it depends on your group dynamic and if people will feel left out, but you can even run a quick one-shot over Discord or something like that. Yeah, with the
give
players
the DM a break.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hell, I forgot about that. Let somebody else do a D&D session. And what better time to introduce a new DM than just a really simple theater of the mind Discord chat?
Yeah. Why not?
That can be really cool.
First time DM, give it a shot.
Yeah, there's going to be lots of reasons that certain people in your group right now might not be able to do D&D, and let them know, of course, you're not kicking them out just because they're not there, but we're going to run something different. Fuck them. Get out of here. Jimmy in the infomercial, he's trapped there for all eternity. But that's something I ask my players when we first
I would say also don't be afraid to just run a session without them, because even if they're unless obviously they're gonna be gone for a while, then don't just be like, all right, screw you, we're just gonna keep, especially with this what's going on is important to their character. But sometimes it's important to just keep going on, and that might, we talked about in our scheduling episode, that might reinvigorate them to make sure that they're there for every session going on forward, so they feel like they're missing out.
It's like throwing a shitload of damage at their character and saying, oh, you weren't paying attention. Guess you lost half your health. What happened?
Rock falls out of the sky.
Yeah. That's also something I've noticed that all of us have been doing in-game, is just we're planning, and now almost everybody has adopted this is taking too long, I'm just going to go in thing.
Yep.
That I kind of started once upon a time, and it's kind of fun. And I think at some point it's going to morph back into careful planning, but more consideration of, hey, we need to do this.
Yeah, we're on a time limit here.
Yeah, and I'm sure you might run into that problem playing online because there's that loss of focus. So that's something you can do. Just kind of urge things along. I think upping your voice game may be important.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people have a creative imagination if you tell them that you're a different NPC right now, that they can fill in the blanks, but take this time to experiment a bit. If you're especially doing a voice-only medium, try getting out of your shell and doing a bit more voices, maybe.
Definitely helps if you don't have a camera.
Oh, yeah. Camera's not necessary. I've got a nice little drawing of my character here. Just paste that on my Discord profile, and they can look at that.
You just change it if you're doing DM, just change the profile picture for each different NPC you're doing.
A lot of effort. Quite a good bit. But, that's everything I wanted to touch on here. I don't know if Ryan had anything else he wanted to talk about, but, we could talk down a rabbit hole on this subject.
Yes,
I just wanted to spark the interest in a lot of you who might not have been considering to do online sessions.
It's definitely a learning curve.
Yeah.
A lot of things you have to, like, for example, Braxton, I can even just tell a difference in our podcast when he's here in person and when he's on Discord, because just mic etiquette. You can tell when someone's about to say something, you can tell when someone's getting amped up, and so you can give them some space and know when to hop in instead of talking over them.
You talking shit?
Yeah, I'm talking shit, dude.
Oh boy.
No, it's just it's important too. No, if you're going online only from now on, maybe not having webcams or anything.
Talking over people is a tough thing to deal with when you're
adapting
online.
to mic etiquette can be tough.
Yeah, I've got 6 people, but surprisingly, I think it's because they all have different levels of comfort in role playing that they don't step on each other too much. But that's probably your biggest issue you're going to run into is stepping on each other's feet. And I don't have a solution for you, honestly. Like raise your hand or push the talk, or I don't know, just say over at the end of every sentence.
Ideally, the nice thing with Discord is you could just forcibly mute that person.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, just shut up for a minute. All right.
Stop. Okay, go ahead.
But then at that point, might as well just kick that person off. It's getting that bad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's a thing. We could talk about that at some point, breaking up with your players, which we already did, I think, a little bit at some point. Man, been doing this for so long, Ryan. We're already running out of topics. No, we're not.
I don't think that's true.
We'll never run out of topics. We have Unearthed Arcana for
Oh,
forever.
no. We always
Do you-
could just do like a monster. You literally do, if we ran out of stuff, it's just do page 1 of the monster manual, then that
Oh, God.
monster's covered, the next monster, next monster, next monster.
I mean, this is the dungeon crawl. We'll just dungeon crawl through very
Yeah.
slowly the monster's manual.
Have you ever heard of the game Smash or Pass?
Yeah, Smash
You
or Pass,
ever-
but monsters.
Yeah, have you ever done the monster manual?
Okay, do we want to make it literally Smash or Pass, or use them in your campaign or pass?
That might apply better to the podcast, but I was specifically talking about Smash or Pass because I have indeed played this with the monster manual before
With who?
with my current girlfriend.
You're kidding me, Ryan.
No.
Is this like a kinky threesome thing that's gonna happen, or what's going on
Yeah,
here?
us and a mind flare. Ooh, boy.
Oh,
Can you
God.
imagine the things that guy knows in bed?
I mean, I think it'd be more mind tricks. Would he even have to do anything to you?
Oh, that's true. Foreplay. That's all it's all.
Oh God. I mean, really though, what? God, we're so off topic now that it fucking matters. Have fun. This is time to laugh, relax for a bit. Listen to us talk about Smash or Pass with monsters. The Beholder.
There's some good ones, man.
Smash or Pass.
The Beholder?
Yeah.
Smash or Pass the Beholder? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Wouldn't?
I don't know. I think it'd be kind of intimidating.
Well, depends on the type of beholder, you know? If it's a beholder that is pure chaos incarnate, then sure, yeah, that might be a little scary, but hey, we're not talking, you know?
All right. At
Think
least.
about what they can do with all those eye stalks, huh?
Yeah.
lot of
That's an
hands.
option. You've watched more anime than I thought you have.
Yeah, now we're getting some other stuff here.
I mean, hell, you could even just categorize monsters by like undead, least smashable, unless you're just into that thing. But like a skeleton,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do there?
Skeletons definitely not. Yeah, that's nothing.
I
But
mean,
the Death Knights, it's
got
just
some
right
weird
about
taste.
edginess, you know?
Got some weird tastes, my friend.
What about the Garistro, huh?
I don't even know what that
Baylor?
is. What even is that?
Garistro's a
Gazpacho?
demon. No, it's a
I don't like Italian food. I'm just kidding. What?
There's
What?
some,
A
there's some
demon, you
nasty
said?
stuff in there. Yeah, it's a demon.
Oh damn! I don't know. You could do fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah, you
That
could.
might be a better one. There's some monsters you probably wife out there. Some people have. You've seen those playable monster races. That's what happens.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think I have anything else on this subject, Ryan.
Yeah, you done?
Let's just be honest here. I don't know if I have anything else.
Oh,
I'm spent. To make this a
God.
quicker episode,
You
get
okay?
people with their life. I don't know.
you alright, man?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm just going crazy, stuck in the house. I'm in. Did I
stir
explain I'm
crazy?
in my parents' house right now?
Yeah. No,
I brought
you
my
didn't.
Mac.
But
I didn't, but I've got my Mac. I flew with my freaking microphone, and I have the stand separated in my suitcase, and they stopped me in the security check because they thought it was a threatening object, and the guy that was checking was this really cool person. He was like, hell, I even know what this is already.
bro, you stream with this, bro?
He was talking like, is it the GameCube controller? He's like, nah, it's not the GameCube controller. I was like, this guy's a bruh.
Yo,
It was a good time.
you be playing
Yeah,
some
yeah.
games with the guy in the airport. He's gonna go back to Frisky and say you guys
Yeah,
just
hit him up
playing
at
some
O'Hare.
Smash.
Just wash your hands.
Like if you beat me in a one-on-one Smash, I'll let you pass, man.
Oh, dude, there's so many games coming out right now, but my gaming PC is at home. Half-Life
that many.
Alex.
Okay, yeah, that is.
I
But
have
not
the
everyone has
index.
VR. Yeah, not everyone has VR, so
I can't escape.
Doom Eternal.
Yeah, I can't play that either.
But you know what you can play?
What? Oh, noise.
You can play Animal Crossing.
I've never played Animal Crossing though.
Are you gonna buy it?
So I've had a problem lately, Ryan. I bought
Oh,
on
no.
sale Dragon Quest XI on Switch, even though
Yeah.
I've played 100-something hours on PC, and I'm the type of person that likes having insane graphics, and the Switch is one. Let's be honest, it's not the prettiest. No,
Yeah,
it's not.
but It's got cool art styles for things.
It does, and the music, the actual full orchestra is great. I also, unfortunately, bought Breath of the Wild again because I sold it when I was coming back from Japan. But I bought it because I had the DLC, and that was just money sitting in my thing. But now I can't get it to recognize the DLC. And I also bought Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX. You're adding the $60 to each other right now. And if I just buy another game,
Well,
like
thank
Animal
God
Crossing,
you have your Switch right now.
Animal Crossing has character creation.
Yeah, I mean,
that alone.
not much, right?
Well, you can get creative.
Okay.
You can get creative.
I mean, people that love Animal Crossing love Animal Crossing.
Yeah. I'm also
I've
considering
Never played it.
playing Stardew Valley with my girlfriend right now.
Yeah.
Because I think my
co-op
Mac
just
can
came
run
out.
it. Yeah, it came out I think like a year or something ago. So if that's your definition of just came out.
No, the
But-
co-op just came out for it, right?
No, it's like I played it with my ex that was before Japan.
What? That's
Yeah.
not right.
Like for a little bit, like half a second, but that crashed and burned.
That's not right, right?
No, I'm so right. I played it in
Maybe
Kenneth's
you're
when I was
right. Oh,
being Harbor
didn't
Day.
something just come out for it though?
For Stardew?
Yeah,
Maybe I don't know.
I'm pretty sure because one guy that makes everything in Stardew Valley. One guy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he had a new release, a new update's coming out soon. Maybe that's what I was thinking about.
I wouldn't
Either
know.
way, it'd be fun.
Could be fun.
Very relaxing.
We're doing it just because we kind of just started dating, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know the description of it. It's been like an amorphous blob of, hey, let's just date.
Stardew's a good dating game, I would think.
It is, but like farming sims are hard for me to get into.
Have you played it before, Stardew Valley?
Like for half a second.
To me, it's whatever you want it to be. There's a lot of stuff besides the farming.
Okay.
You could be the miner. Go into the mines. That's where all the action takes
Oh,
place.
yeah, if you played Minecraft with me, you know that's what I like to do. Silence. Nothing. Ryan's gone into the void. Is this mic okay?
Oh my
I don't think he's good. Oh,
front
what happened?
door.
Dang. Everything's going to shit. I've also noticed that my internet's been slower in general. This whole thing's a conspiracy, Ryan. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, things
Oh,
are
is he
being
gone
odd.
again? Man, I'll just keep
I'm here.
entertaining you guys for this podcast. You know what? We won't cut this out. This is Braxton's Corner now.
He can't hear me. I can hear him.
I'm already out of material. I could just talk about.
He
we
can't
already
hear
did
me.
social media stuff. Shit.
Oh my
Maybe I'm
god!
just a really boring
How
person.
ridiculous
You guys can
is
hang
this?
out with me for a little bit.
How
He just
unbelievable is
left
this?
the chat. I don't know if we should keep going.
Yellow?
Hey,
You couldn't hear me a second ago? I was
No,
waffling.
but I've been entertaining them. What have you been watching? Everything's going to shit, guys. These types of things will happen when you're
I
playing
think it's
online
recording,
D&D.
but I'm not sure.
It's not recording for you?
No, I think it is. It is now. I don't know if it was a second ago. It's okay. Maybe it is time to wrap.
No, we'll keep this in though because it's great. I was
Oh
talking for
my
a bit.
god, what a shit show.
And we're improvising. Usually you're the teacher. I'm the student. I'm not as good as teaching as you are, Ryan. I don't know. I like being the one that makes the dumb, witty comments.
Yeah, that's you. Dumb and
That's
witty.
me. I'm dumb and witty.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Dumb and witty.
I'm dumb and witty.
I'm with dumb and witty.
I may be dumb, but at least I'm witty.
That's all I've got going for me. But you know what else I've got going for me? A fun podcast to do while we're doing the
Hell yeah.
quarantine thing with my good butt. We're the
Hell
dungeon
yeah.
crawl.
I've been Ryan.
I've been Braxton. You heard our social media at Dungeon Crawl Pod, both Twitter and Instagram. If you want to send us a write-up about what you thought about these times and how you've adjusted for D&D, send it to thedungeoncrawlpod@gmail.com. You can send us your information,
Oh, yeah.
anything that you're doing there. Much appreciated. Stay happy, stay healthy, wash your hands and your entire body because you're dirty.
Ugh.
No particular reason. You look sweaty. Okay, thanks. Bye.